So we're going to be talking about x and y intercepts today. Okay, and the first thing you need to know what intercepts are is the first thing you need to know is what an intercept is, or an intersection. So if you have two lines, right? Here's two lines. Your intersection is going to be that point where they meet. Okay, that's my intersection. So when I'm specifically talking about an x or a y intercept, that means I am looking at a particular graph of a line. So here's my particular graph of a line. And I'm looking for the specific point where they cross either the x-axis or the y-axis. Okay? So my x-intercept is the point where my graph crosses the x-axis. Okay, and then my y-intercept is just the opposite. It's the point where my graph crosses the y-axis. All right, so here, that's my x-intercept, and there, that's my y-intercept. Okay, these are points. Points always come with an ordered pair. Okay, so the ordered pair for this point I can find easily. I'm just going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I went 5 to the left, so -5, and I went up or down 0. So my x-intercept in this example is -5, 0. If I come over here and draw another graph, okay, this x-intercept, that's going to be at the point 6, 0. And if you notice, the y value is the same for both of these. Because you're on the x-axis, that means you've gone up or down none. You haven't gone up or down at all. So your y value is 0. And that's always going to be the case. So your x-intercept always has a y value equal to 0. All right? Always, always, always. And then if you look at, let's look at my y-intercepts here. Okay, so this y-intercept is at 0. I went left or right, nothing, and I went up 4. This one is at, I went left or right, nothing, and down -5. So again, you can see this time it's our x value that stays the same, because no matter what, to be on that y-axis, it means you went left or right 0. You didn't go left or right at all. So that means my y-intercept always has an x value equal to 0. All right? Okay, so let's look at what this means for solving equations and solving and graphing equations. Okay? So example 1 says, find the intercepts of the graph 3x minus 2y equals 6. So we have a graph of a line, and I need to find the intercepts. There's always two intercepts, so I'm going to be doing two things. I'm going to find an x-intercept, and I'm going to find a y-intercept. My x-intercept means that I'm crossing the x-axis, which also means my y value is 0. So in your answer, you already know half of it. Same over here for my y-intercept. You already know half of that answer too, because at your y-intercept, or when you're crossing the y-axis, your x value is 0. And remember, anytime you have an ordered pair, it goes x and y like that. Okay? So I'm going to solve these to find the x-intercept and the y-intercept. I have half of each. I need the other portion. Okay? So if I have the equation, 3x minus 2y equals 6, and I know what my y value is, I'm going to replace that. I know what y is, so I'm going to replace y with 0, and that's going to be equal to 6. Okay, 3x minus 2 times 0 is 0. Okay, we don't actually need to write that. So it's just 3x equals 6. Then I just need to solve my one-step equation there. So I have 3 times x. I want to get rid of that 3 so that x is alone. So I'm going to divide by 3 on both sides. 6 divided by 3 is 2. So my other value for my x-intercept point is 2. Do the same for y, but like the reverse. Okay, I'm looking for my y-intercept, which means I know what x is. So I have 3x minus 2y equals 6. I'm using the same equation, but this time I'm going to replace x with 0. Okay, 3 times 0 is just 0 minus 2y. Again, we don't need to write the 0 thing, so I'm just going to come over here. This is going to become negative 2y equals 6. I'm going to divide to get rid of the 2 times y. And that'll leave me with y equals 6 divided by negative 2 is negative 3. So there's my 2 points. Here's my y-intercept. Here is my x-intercept. Okay? You can also write them as a list, like this. The y-intercept is negative 3. The x-intercept is 2. Okay, so this is another option for writing those answers. All right. Look at example 2. And what it wants you to do is to graph the equation 3x minus 2y equals 6 from example 1. So they just want us to graph this. To graph something, basically what you need are points that are solutions to the equation. Well, I already know 2 points that are solutions to this equation. I know the point 2, 0. So write 2 up or down 0. I also know the point 0, negative 3. And that's all you need to graph an equation, are 2 points that are solutions. That's your minimum, 2 points that are solutions. I have 2 points that are solutions. So here is, that's a very, 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 very crappy line. But you're just going to draw a line through the points. I would suggest using a ruler to make it straight, but that's your graph of the line. You're done. Okay? So I want you to go to checkpoints on the next page. Try number 1. We're going to hold on number 3. We're going to do that together, but just try number 1 and then check back in to see if you get it right. All right, so for number 1 here, you had my x-intercept I solved over here, my y-intercept I solved over here. So you plug in 0 for y, and you'll get x minus 2 times 0 equals negative 2. 2 times 0 goes to 0, and that leaves you with just x equals negative 2. So here's my x-intercept. For my y-intercept, I plug in 0 for x. 0 minus negative 2y equals negative 2. That left me with just negative 2y equals negative 2. To get rid of the negative 2 times, you would divide by negative 2. So that leaves you with y equals negative 2 divided by negative 2 is a positive 1. That means my y-intercept is at the point 0, 1. Okay? So I graphed those 2 points, 0, 1, negative 2, 0, and connected them with my line. All right? So now let's look at number 3. I wanted to do this one together because you guys have a tendency to freak out because it looks a little different, but that's okay. It's really going to be the same process. So I'm going to start with my x-intercept, which I know I'm looking for the x value. My y value is 0. And then I'm going to do my y-intercept, where I know what my x value is, but I'm looking for the y. All right? So let's start with x. If I do that, I have 0 for y equals negative 2x minus 8. Okay, it doesn't matter that y is over here by itself. You still plug in 0 for y. Y is still equal to 0. But now you just have a 2-step equation to solve rather than a 1-step. So you need to look at our SAD map, which says start with addition or subtraction. I have subtraction, so I want to get rid of that first by doing addition. So that leaves me with negative 2x equals 0 plus 8 is 8. Then I need to get rid of my multiplication and division. So I have multiply, I'm going to divide to get rid of negative 2. That leaves me with x equals 8 divided by negative 2 is negative 4. So that means my x-intercept is at negative 4, 0. My y-intercept, okay, that I'm going to go in and I'm going to replace the x with 0. So y equals negative 2 times 0 minus 8. Negative 2 times 0 is just 0 minus 8. So that means y is equal to negative 8. So that point is going to be 0, negative 8. Okay, then again, same thing. You come down, you graph those points. Negative 4, 0. Negative 8. Or 0, negative 8. So there's your 2 points. Okay? Connect them with your line. And then you are done. Okay? Alright. You're going to do these problems down here for homework and then turn them into me. Alright?